Jordan. Fraud! One shot attempt in 17 minutes. Fraud! Fake Michael Jordan. Must win game. One shot attempt in the first 17, 18 minutes. Fraud! Playing catch up the rest of the game. Ant-Man sold the game. He is a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. It's a must-win game. You have to attempt more than one field goal in the first 17 minutes of the game. You have to set the tempo in the game. You have to play on the front foot. Ant-Man should have taken the lead, the initiative, to not be reactive, but to be proactive. To be proactive, you need your best player involved early on in the game and establishing a groove the rest of the way. 5 for 13 and 15 points in a must-win game does not do it for me. Fake Michael Jordan. He's a fake Michael Jordan. Oh, Michael Jordan. Edwards is Michael Jordan. He's the next Michael Jordan. Bullshit. Bollocks. Next Michael Jordan, my ass. He's a fraud. How you attempt one field goal in the first 17 minutes? He is a fraud. And he sold that game big time to Las Vegas. They knew what they were doing. I told you, the Wolves had zero chance. It was a rigged psyop. It was a psychological operation. They had no chance of coming back in the series. They had zero chance. They were not playing out the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was never, ever going to happen. Kevin Durant is going to the New York Knicks. It may as well be official after tonight. He is not going back to the Thunder. The Thunder are winning without Kevin Durant. The Thunder are not going to sign Kevin Durant. The NBA is boring, and that's right, because it's boring. Thunder already won the West. The East sucks. Whoever wins the East, who gives a damn? They're getting smoked by the Thunder. There's no chance of a Game 7 in the finals. It's going to be Thunder in 5 games. If it's pure Thunder in 5 games over the Pacers or the Knicks. If it ain't pure and it's manipulated, then you'll give a Thunder a Game 6 at home. But the Thunder are your NBA champions. The rest of the playoffs is worthless. The Thunder won 68 games. They're against 2 trash teams in the East, not named the Cavs or the Celtics, who by far have far more talent than these 2 teams. What it comes down to is the NBA cares about not the ratings for the NBA Finals at the end, but it's about an aggregate through the course of the playoffs, and by having different conference champions every single year, it seems like the NBA is selling on parity and uncertainty of outcome as being the driving forces of the ratings in the playoffs. So they care about the aggregate from the first round to the last round. The number one thing it's doing is it's having different champions and it's having different teams representing the East and the West every single year. But the playoffs are boring, and I ain't watching the finals, and it's already over. And this guy, SGA, probably is a free throw gimmick, no different than James Harden and a few other guys who the NBA likes to give their free throws to. The series is over. The Thunder won the championship. I could quite frankly, I care less who wins the East. I mean, if they throw in a UFIS knuckle change with the smallest market in the NBA in Indiana and not even New York in the finals, damn, these people are cray-cray. Indiana and Oklahoma City, we have ourselves a stinker for playoff ratings. Thunder are well rested now. If this series is tied 2-2, then suddenly the Thunder get all the rest. If the Pacers are up 3-1, then why even watch the rest of the playoffs? My God, NBA really need the New York Knicks to win. I think the NBA really needs the New York Knicks to win. They got to have an interesting playoff series. I mean, they were upsets, the Cavs and the Knicks, but those series were over in like 5 games practically. There wasn't even a 2-2. There was no 2-2 for the Lakers and the T-Wolves. There was no 2-2 for the Warriors and the Timberwolves. The only good series I can really think of is basically the Thunder and the Nuggets, but the same people knew that the Denver Nuggets had no chance of winning that series, that the Thunder were just BSing and giving some games to the Denver Nuggets because it was a matchup of the 3 or 4 time MVP up against the guy who's going to win the next MVP, SGA, this year. So that's what that was about as far as the Game 6, Game 7 goes. But this playoffs is boring. There's no need to watch the rest of the playoffs. It is boring. Come call me when we get close to week 1 of the NFL season. And I did a 30-minute video on the preview of the NFL season, the preview, who's going to win the conferences, who are the top 3 that I have for each conference. It's a 30-minute video. It goes really, really into detail. The Comanche, the Super Bowl site, the 39th day of the year, everything associated with the playoff records, this and that. It's a really, really good video to keep your mind open as far as the realistic possibilities for both NFC and the AFC. And so that was 30-minute video. I did that on Saturday. And if you go back 2-3 days, you should be able to find it. And in case you missed it, I did do NFL preview for the season, the contenders that we can expect. But the NBA is boring. The Thunder won the championship. Kevin Durant, the Thunder are winning without Kevin Durant. The shaming ritual makes sense when you think about it. Because here's this Kevin Durant. He joins a 66-win team that won 66 games the prior season. Every single pundit on the networks was predicting the loser Phoenix Suns to be championship contenders with Kevin Durant. And they go from winning 66 games to losing against the Nuggets and getting swept by the Timberwolves and then missing the play-in. Cherry on top of that cake. Cherry on top. Not even making the play-in, the loser Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant. The same year they don't make the play-in, the Thunder win the championship. He's never, ever going back to the Thunder. We need Kevin Durant in the East against GOAT King LeBron in the Western Conference. Kevin Durant in the New York Knicks against GOAT King LeBron in 2027. You got to brainwash. You got to manipulate the masses. And they were changing to the new guard, and they're going away from the old guard. Yeah, that's what they want you to. They want you to think that they're going away from the old guard. To an element of degree, they are. But they set in the stage for the next couple of years. They're brainwashing and manipulating and baiting the public. But they absolutely are. People, the whole purpose of this operation is just, crown GOAT King LeBron, crown the Lakers. It's like they want the public to go with SGA, to go with Joker, to go with Anthony Edwards. When these guys make it to the conference finals and GOAT King LeBron doesn't, then recency bias, the public is more inclined to think, they want this. They want Anthony Edwards to win the championship. They want Anthony Edwards. But they don't want Anthony Edwards to make the finals until 2029. Minnesota Timberwolves are a fire bet to win the West in the spring and summer of 2029 because Edwards come on to 2029. I told you Kevin Durant in the New York Knicks are probably going to beat the Timberwolves in 2029. And that's the year that Minnesota will make it to the finals. And to add context to OKC, I like to see what the ratings are in Canada if they care if people are just watching because it's a compatriot, it's a countryman. SGA's from Canada. I don't know if Canada certainly was interested in the Toronto Raptors when they made it to the finals. But does SGA make Canada more interesting? That's something very interesting. Someone needs to look up the ratings in Canada if they care more or if they're indifferent to SGA going far in the playoffs. So your Oklahoma City Thunder to win the championship with Kevin Durant goes completely out the door. 2029 is the New York Knicks. New York wins the title 56 years into the future. 56 years into the future. Because the Big Apple's 56. Kevin Durant's going to end the drought for New York in 2029. I will be stunned if Kevin Durant doesn't join the New York Knicks. If NBA wants Victor, the one team, my top two for Kevin Durant is New York Knicks right on top. Opposite conference, the GOAT King LeBron. Number two would be Kevin Durant on the Spurs. The Spurs is the other team that I see for Kevin Durant. It's either Spurs or Knicks at this point. San Antonio or the New York Knicks. There's no ifs or buts. No Greg Popovich, so no faces from the GOAT King LeBron Spurs rivalry 07, 12, and 13. Because, well, I mean, Popovich is still there, but he's the president. He's the team president. So, okay, Popovich is still there, but he's not on the sidelines. But he's still the president, the GM, whatever. But I think we see the Pacers hammering the nail now. And the New York Knicks are going to be forced to make a trade for Kevin Durant. They're not firing Tibbs because they beat the Celtics. And they made it to the conference finals for the first time with Tom Thibodeau. So in a way, they made progress with Tom Thibodeau. But they will make a move for Kevin Durant this offseason. They will. If Phoenix is Camacho 46, and Kevin Durant is on the loser Phoenix Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder from the 46th admitted state win the championship, that's why Kevin Durant is going to the New York Knicks. And I told you, he was never, ever going to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. All this stuff with the Knicks trade for KAT, that was brainwashing, that was manipulating, that was hook and bait and sucker the masses. There was never going to fall for that. But I warned you of the psyop. They going with the Thunder. They going with SGA, win 68 games, win the championship, best record last 2 years, runner-up in the NBA Cup to Giannis Antetokounmpo. But the Thunder, they went in the real champ at the finish and runner-up in them. And this is how they mock GOAT King LeBron. Mickey Mouse Cup. They ain't give a damn about no Mickey Mouse Cup. And they be settling for the real cup. The Larry O'Brien trophy. The real cup. I'm not watching the finals. It's a joke. Boring and predictable. Not even a good team to go up against. Not even a good team. Not even New York with Kevin Durant. There's no good team left. Oh, there is the Thunder. Anthony Edwards sold for Las Vegas. They ain't paying nothing out the rest of the playoff. It may as well be a huge, giant joke. Anthony Edwards is a fraud. One field goal attempt in the first 17 minutes of the game. Fraud, 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 fraud. What a fraud, fraud, fraud. Company man, fraud, fraud, complete fraud, fraud. Not even 15 field goal attempts. Fraud. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a joke. He's a fake Michael Jordan. He's a fraud. When he fraud away this game for NBA going to reward this guy down the line. If Devin Booker fails and chokes against the Bucks, well, they decided not to reward him down the line. They had him thinking he was going to get rewarded, but they knew what they doing when they broke away the loser Phoenix Suns. They knew what they were doing. I can't say I would be stunned if they had the Pacers against the Oklahoma City Thunder. What connections to Indiana do these players and does everybody on the team have? I don't know. I don't know. Pacers and Thunder? Boring. The only thing with Indiana is Caitlin Clark frenzy, Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, and then the men's team. You know, the Indiana Pacers win the East. They win the Eastern Conference title, and they in the NBA Finals. Pacers have a good team, but at the end of the day, it's Indiana. That's all it is. It's Indiana. It's not Madison Square Garden. That's all what it is at the end of the day. And you rather see the Madison Square Garden in the NBA Finals. Damn. New York City. Madison Square Garden. The NBA Finals at New York City. Damn. I ain't ever seen that ever during my time as a sports fan. Yeah, but the code is there. Indiana Pacers is 84. If they do beat the Pacers, the Gematria supports it. Thunder's 90 and the Pacers owners 90 years of age. And Denver, Miami, I'm sick and tired of this crap. I'm sick and tired of these boring-ass matchups. Mavs and Celtics was boring. Retards actually thought the Mavs were going to win that series. They had nothing but piles of trash, and Kyrie, they had Kyrie and Luka in a bunch of trash. That was never going to be a good series. That was boring too. Well, the only thing entertaining was seeing Kyrie shit the bed at Boston, seeing some payback for Boston. That was the only entertaining thing there, but it was a boring finals otherwise. Boring. Lakers going to be a 4th, 6th seed next year. I bet they won't even be a top 3 seed. They're going to be 5 or 6. They'll be a 5th or 6th seed, and suddenly Lakers are seen as a scrub-ass team because retards forget when they made it to the conference finals and whipped the ass of everybody along the way. Number 2 seed Grizzlies and they Golden State Warriors. They whipped the ass. They totally did whip the ass. They totally did. I have remembered every single detail of the Nuggets series. Lakers are winning for 70-80% of the series. I'm not going to forget all that. I'm not going to forget the slapdick effort rebounding the basketball in the last series against the Timberwolves. I'm not going to forget Goat LeBron. You see what happened with Goat LeBron when he didn't even take a shot for 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. Anthony Edwards does the same crap for 17 minutes. The first 17 minutes of the game, these guys be told, oh, you don't shoot a ball for 17 minutes, for 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. You are not allowed to shoot the ball. Go, LeBron. NBA told us Anthony Edwards that he was not going to be aggressive at all to begin the game, that you all are not going to be playing up front and winning at home, that you are going to play with behind. You're going to have to play catch-up because we want the Thunder to win. They told this guy to take a dive. One field goal attempt, one crappy, measly field goal attempt the first 17 minutes of the game. What an utter giant fraud that was. There's no way Anthony Edwards played like Anthony Edwards. That was diabolical. He was told to take a dive from the NBA. He was told to. What's so fucking exciting about seeing the Thunder up 3-1 going back home? They practically won the series. They're not losing the series. It's over. Why not make it 2-2? This is boring. Make it 2-2. This is a fraud. Make it 2-2. And then the Thunder win the series in 5, and they win the finals in 5. Goki Bond is the one only goat king of the league. When he upset the Thunder next year, it's Goki the Bond that dethrones the Thunder next year. Goki the Bond gets the job done against the Thunder. The Thunder killer Luka, the last guy to eliminate the Thunder, is going to eliminate the Thunder next year. Who's ready for Goki the Bond to eliminate the Thunder next year? I'm ready for Goki the Bond to eliminate the Thunder. There's zero excitement whatsoever for the rest of the playoffs. There's nothing. There's no Game 7 between the Pacers and the Cavs. There's no Game 7 between them. Both series were not even 3-2. They were 4-1. But who cares if that was 6 games? New York Knicks practically won the series. They dived to Game 5 because you're going to clinch in front of your home fans, and they're all going to start, jumping on top of street lights and all of that. So it was all hocus pocus BS where we don't care about Game 5 because NBA wants us to finish it at home. And that was boring series too. So this is a boring championship. Boring. Okay, Nuggets up 3-0 against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, but the Eastern Conference Finals went 7 games. Hopefully New York Knicks win. NBA did until June the 5th. New York Knicks got to win the game tomorrow. New York Knicks have to win the game. If you guys picture together going on WWE, your Jalen Brunson and your Tyrese Halliburton, you're going to give us a best of 3. Whoever gets the right to win an Eastern Conference trophy and to be the willing participants to play in the finals, but to get stopped by the Thunder at the end of the day. They're getting stomped by the Thunder. The Thunder in 5. Kevin Durant is a joke. I told you the Kevin Durant shooting ritual. I told you. There was never going to be no Timberwolves. I tried to warn you. He's going back to the Thunder. No. And when the Thunder win the championship, he is never allowed to go back to OKC. He's got to do it on the team that hasn't won the title, that hasn't won a championship in over 50 years. If you are New York City, if you are the New York Knicks. You see, he wherever he goes, he has to establish himself as a staple and as a legend. There's nothing legendary about winning a championship on an already stacked team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Austin Reeves haters, he's going to shoot the lights out, returning back to Oklahoma to face off against the Thunder. Austin Reeves going to smoke the Thunder in the playoffs next year. He played college basketball just about a half-hour drive from the stadium from OKC. He's going to dominate against the Thunder. Austin Reeves is going to go full AR-15 on these guys next year, the Oklahoma City Thunder. You see, that's what the script calls for. You play college basketball at the Oklahoma Sooners. Caruso play with the Lakers. We gonna beat Alex Caruso. We gonna go up against the Caruso next year. We will. Conference semifinals, conference finals. If the kid SGA wins the title with 27 playoff wins, well, if he gets to 35 before next year's conference finals, it's King James. That's 35. He could go for a 35th playoff win against King James should they be in the conference semifinal. Goat Kinabon is at 28 playoff wins with the Lakers. He'll enter the conference finals with 36. Thunder's 36, so he beats the Thunder, enters the conference finals with 36 wins. Or he's going to enter the series against the Thunder with 36 wins. So Lakers Thunder conference finals, Lakers Thunder conference semifinal. These are the possibilities for next year that they set in stone for Goat LeBron James. They'll beat the defending champions in the semifinal or in the conference finals. Goat LeBron's 43rd playoff series win in the semifinal. Champion is 43 to beat the champion of the NBA or to beat the champions of the NBA in the conference finals next year. Goat LeBron James for the 44th playoff series win of his career. That's how the numbers stack up for Goat LeBron James. I'm excited. I'll be ready for this. We need another crack at the Timberwolves. When we beat the Timberwolves, it's like, they're not the Thunder. They're not the Thunder. We already whipped the Warriors' ass. Will they give us one last ride for Goat LeBron against Stephen Curry? Or these days are over. But instead, we're going to have a revenge match against the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, and we beat the Thunder. Something tell me here, who would Oklahoma City go up against in the playoffs? Who the Warriors going to get in the playoffs next year? Who the Warriors going to get? Who are they going to lose to in the playoffs? Who's going to have a season-ending injury on the Warriors? Will Stephen Curry have his Kobe moment? Not everyone can last as long as Goat LeBron did. I think a serious injury could happen on the Warriors. I don't know why. I think we're not getting Warriors anymore. NBA's moved on from Lakers Warriors. They gave us one final time with Goat LeBron in a Laker uniform in 2023. It was the end of the Splash Brothers. It's the end of Goat LeBron against the Warriors in the Splash Brothers. It was over once Klay Thompson left. It looks like these days are over. I will defeat Minnesota. I will defeat the Thunder. I will defeat, again, as far as the trash-ass Denver Nuggets goes, we're going to beat the trash-ass Denver Nuggets. I wonder who their new coach is going to be. But Denver's 32 will come on, get his 32nd playoff win as a member of the Lakers to defeat the Denver Nuggets. Or we enter the conference semifinals with 32 playoff wins, and then we go up against the Thunder. And then Minnesota's the 32nd admitted state in the Union, so maybe we could face off against the Timberwolves in the conference semifinals after we beat Denver, because Minnesota's the 32nd admitted state in the Union. So these are the possibilities for next year. I'm going to say that these Warriors days are over. I think the Warriors are done. I think these days are over. Warriors, maybe they got to play against the Timberwolves. Maybe Warriors Thunder. SGA and these 3-point freaks on the Thunder against Stephen Curry and the team that has had the historical tendency to attempt a lot of three-pointers. Or the Thunder out three-point the Warriors in next year's playoffs. Stephen Curry against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Stephen Curry can't beat the Warriors, but go. Stephen Curry can't beat the Thunder, but go. King the Bunters is going to beat the Thunder next year. He's going to beat the Thunder next year. It's much more exciting to talk about next year than it is to talk about the end of the freaking NBA season, for crying out loud, fat. For crying out loud. Boring. Awful. If you make the conference semifinals interesting for the masses, you've got to at least make it interesting for the final. They're not making the final four interesting. NBA dead as hell. They really need the New York Knicks to win tomorrow. They need the New York Knicks to win. They need the Knicks to win. They need them to win badly. I don't know how they would even want Indiana to win tomorrow. Are the referees going to be on the Knicks nuts the whole game? I mean, they really need the Knicks to win tomorrow. Otherwise, it's a dead-ass conference semifinals week. And Michael Jordan, he's a fraud too. He's another fraud. Michael Jordan, the 1980s was facilitated by Magic and Larry and your East Coast and your West Coast and your Boston and your LA and your Celtics and your Lakers and your best friends who are now frenemies, Larry Bird in Indiana State and Magic Johnson in Michigan State, who play each other in college basketball. Those two guys and those two teams drove the 80s. And then the 1990s, when Magic retired and Larry retired, David Stern says, we want to pick one guy that we're going to worship like he's God, and that's going to make us lots of money. And that's going to make us make a lot of money when we have one guy who is like Zeus, who's like Moloch. Now, Michael Jordan is fraudulent. He was in the Illuminati creation for the NBA to expand globally. He 100% is Illuminati. He is contrived. His whole career was contrived. It absolutely was contrived. I think the greatest era was the 80s. Michael Jordan could never, ever beat the bad boy Pistons. He could never, ever beat Magic and his tribe. He could never, ever beat the Celtics. These are the best teams. 80 teams were the best teams. Michael Jordan couldn't beat the best of the best. The 80s is the best era of the NBA. The 90s was a bunch of Michael Jordan Moloch worship. Because NBA was going to be dead if they didn't have a coherent plan to survive the end of Larry and Magic. So they needed Michael Jordan to be the Illuminati creation. Oh, this guy is the best. He wins every single year. It's Michael Jordan. I watch basketball because of Mike, and the rest of the league is worthless. And when Michael retires, the league is worthless. And NBA crashed after Michael Jordan retired because they over-marketed Michael Jordan. They over-marketed the guy. They oversold the guy. They went too far selling Michael Jordan. They almost destroyed the league. But they were not going to repeat that when Goldie LeBron is about to retire. They didn't want to repeat that mistake. So their plan was give Goldie LeBron 2 rings, but sell us Jokic with the championship. Sell us SGA with back-to-back best records in the regular season in the championship. Sell us Anthony Edwards with 2 runs to the conference finals. Sell the future. Tyrese Halliburton deep playoff run in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks set the stage for Kevin Durant. They don't just overmarket one superstar. That's why the game is in much better shape to move on from Goldking the Bond because you have these other guys out there that you're selling to the masses, that the masses can say, I like Anthony Edwards, I like SDA, I like Tyrese Halliburton, I like these guys. They're trying to prepare for life beyond Goldking the Bond and Stephen Curry. That's what they're doing there. But there will come a time where they repeat the same exact outcome, and people start to believe that it's repeated, that Goldking the Bond doesn't win a championship, that he's never going to win. When you repeat the same result again, the public tends to believe the contrary will never happen. So this is a bunch of brainwash, hook and bait, psychological warfare tactics from the NBA. They want to repeat the same outcome again, so they beat into the head that Goldking the Bond's never going to win again. I'm not going to fall for these manipulation tactics from the NBA, the Illuminati ring, where you have these guys, number 23, 2, 3 peats, and you guys are Illuminati creations. No, we're not going there with that. We're not going there with that. I'm not going there with that. They're absolutely setting the stage with Goldking the Bond James. But the playoffs, they have done a terrible. And the championship has already been rewarded. No team is beating the Thunder if you have a brain. Come back to me if the series is tied 2-2 between the Pacers and the Knicks. If that series is tied, then there is a compelling reason to watch the rest of the series with the best of 3. But the Thunder get a rest advantage. Are they going to lose at home? No. They're going to clinch the finals berth in front of the fans, in front of the supporters, in front of the fans. They're going to celebrate winning the conference. They're going to win the conference title in front of their fans. They are not going back to Minnesota. They are not going back to Minnesota. With the inclusion of the GOAT in the Final Four of the NBA to give us a Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals, it is dead ass. This way, it is dead ass. Goldking the Bond against the Thunder next year in the Conference Finals. I will beat the Thunder. I will beat the Thunder. We beat the Thunder. The GOAT, the king, the training staff, the medical staff, the teammates, the coaches, and the fans, all alike, driving the team to victory. Goldking the Bond train. We waiting, Goldking the Bond train. 196, I know what 196 is about. The 19th championship with the Lakers, the 6th ring for Goldking the Bond James. The day that Cleveland ended the championship drought for the city of Cleveland. The day that the real King James was born. We waited for Goldking the Bond James. When he back in the finals, it's the 196th playoff win of Goldking the Bond's career. The 196, like the 19th day of June, like the real birthday King James. We are there. We are there. We there. It's all about the 196. We're not ignoring the 196. Next year is going to be dope. Jason Tatum's going to come back and people are going to call this guy Kobe. They are calling him Kobe. I'm not calling him Kobe. But they called Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan, and they all going to call this Jason Tatum Kobe Bryant. It's Kobe Bryant redemption coming back from the ACL and in the NBA Finals. Over 12 months later, Jason Tatum back in the finals. He's going to shock the world. I trust the science. I trust the advancements. He's going to be ready to go. He'll beat everybody in the East. They said the Celtics had an easy cupcake ride against the East last year. But you people tell me they had a super easy ride to the finals. Okay, if you told me he was playing a bunch of cupcakes, then I fully expect Jason Tatum to win the East next year. I have a brain. I knew what I was seeing with the Celtics. It was pure basketball. Celtics were beating the ass of a mediocre team. And then the Celtics simply laid down for the second halves of those games. Everyone with the brain knows you don't have a great team like the Celtics and you blow a 20-point lead completely up by chance. Come on. This kind of crap doesn't happen by chance. No way it happens by chance. It doesn't happen 2 times by chance. There's no way it happens by chance. They were told to take the dive, just like they told Anthony Edwards to take one fucking measly shot for the first 17. You have to watch. You have to notice this crap when you watch these games. You have to absolutely. People can't be oblivious to what they do. There's Las Vegas manipulation, and like I told you, they were never, ever going to pay out the odds on the Timberwolves. They're getting ready for this guy. I'll be ready for next year. I already am ready for next year. I will not believe my eyes if the Pacers are up against Indiana or Oklahoma City. David Stern is going to be turning in his grave to Adam Silver if his institution ever allows 2 small market teams in the finals. I don't count Cleveland and San Antonio because Goat Keenan was Goat Keenan. The San Antonio Spurs had a Hall of Fame core. What I'm thinking about is Sacramento against New Jersey. They never wanted Sacramento, New Jersey. They rid that Game 6 in favor of the Lakers. The most rigged game ever. It had nothing to do with referees like Tim Donaghy betting on the outcome. It had everything to do with David Stern not wanting a New Jersey Nets Sacramento Kings series because Shaq was born at New Jersey and the three-peat was going to be accomplished at New Jersey because Shaq was the best player for 3 of Kobe's 5 rings. He was not the best player. Shaq was the best. Record without Shaq, pretty bad for the Lakers. Record without Kobe, we can live without Kobe. We are completely built around Shaq. Their statistics back that up. Kobe Bryant, overrated in the GOAT department. Top 10, top 15. But the numbers don't lie. But we must not use our death to get over emotional that he's the GOAT. No. We're still speaking in reality. No, they're not beating Oklahoma City. They're not the Cavs and they're not the Celtics, and the Thunder have been beating up everybody so far. Now, you see, Michael Jordan's going to see Goat LeBron James defeat the Thunder. I think the Thunder will win 60 games next year. I think they'll win 63, 64. There's no reason why the Thunder can easily win 60 games next year. The Thunder are taking the Warriors' place as far as the three-pointers are concerned. I think Lakers need some shooters. I think they must build a team to see how we can handle the Oklahoma City Thunder right after we find who our center is going to be. We got to find the center, but we must absolutely approach the offseason to find some more shooters, guys that can burn, fire. We're going to convert. That's what we need. That's what we must focus on. We need a little bit more firepower as far as sharpshooters goes. We need to utilize Goat LeBron and Lucas' passing ability to make it rain from the perimeter. The same formula of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They surrounded the corner with three-pointers. Halfway between the key and the corner, you got a guy who can shoot the three-pointer from there. You have guys who can shoot the three-pointer from anywhere on the court behind the arc. That's what the Lakers need. That's my opinion. We should construct our team to hang with the Celtics and the Thunder. I'm not going to be the freight train to the basket as he was in Miami. I mean, this guy may be like God, but this guy is still human after all. I mean, he's 40 years of age. No one hold goalkeeper Bond to a higher standard at his age than anybody. They gave Michael Jordan the break when he was 40 years of age, but they still expect goalkeeper Bond to be the best player in the world. This guy deals with insane BS every day from the haters in the media. Anytime open the bond away, and they give Kevin Durant the excuses, the cop out. They gave him excuses why they lost against the Nuggets. They keep giving this guy excuses. Whatever they want with the script. If the Pacers are just going to be a nemesis until Kevin Durant joins the New York Knicks, and it seems like the Pacers are still the best team to match up and make it to the finals against the Clippers. I still like Pacers to play the Clippers in 2028. Okay? But people get all emotional, but they know it. That this guy constructs an arena and pays lots of money, that the NBA isn't going to give one back to Steve Ballmer. They will give one back to Steve Ballmer. 2028 is the year for the Clippers. The Clippers are going to win in their new arena. Kawhi was balling. Kawhi be back for more. Will the Clippers make the conference semi? Somebody is not going to make it next year in the conference semifinal. You've got Lakers and Thunder, and then Timberwolves are the candidate. You have somebody else. It's going to be harder for these teams to make it to the conference semifinals. It will be hard for the Warriors. It will be hard for the Clippers. There's a lot of room in the Western Conference. The Denver Nuggets will probably lose against Lakers in the first round. We're the 4 teams to make the conference semifinal. We got the possibilities for Goalkeeper Bond. Goalkeeper Bond, I think, should go up against the Timberwolves and against the Thunder, the conference finals. The Thunder against, SGA used to be with the Clippers. Do we see Thunder Clippers next year? Do we see another playoff series win and more games and more revenue for Steve Ballmer for at least the second round? We continue the Clippers curse. Continue on at Inglewood. So that's what the playoff picture is about for the West next year. Jason Tatum, he is at 73 wins. And maybe Tatum in Boston beat Indiana in the first round. Tyrese Halliburton, 77. Maybe this means Celtics Pacers conference semifinal next year. The range for Boston and Indiana is going to be first round or conference semifinal. How we interpret the 77 entering the series, or he gets the 77th playoff win against Tyrese Halliburton. This is what Jason Tatum. We have a 7-game series between the Celtics and the Pacers next year. Okay, who's next after that? From 77 playoff wins to 80 playoff wins, what's the 81 connection? I still have Jason Tatum getting to 85 playoff wins to win the East. Basketball is 85. Boston is 85. Lakers Celtics, don't keep the ball on Celtics rivalry. It is still here next year. This championship this year is a shaming ritual for Kevin Durant. It very much is a shaming ritual for Kevin Durant. It absolutely is setting the stage for the offseason for where Kevin Durant is going to go. And he can never go to Oklahoma City. The pundits will talk about it. He must establish his own legacy. He will not be going to the Thunder. Media will want him to go to New York. I think he will be going to New York. I think under commissioner's orders, like yet the commissioner ordered the guy, they don't get to go to the Lakers. You see, they already decided where Kevin Durant is going to go. And again, like I said, Eastern Conference, Durant go in the bond, LA, New York, kind of like Magic in LA and Larry in Boston. It's either that or we need the Spurs to be good, so we have Kevin Durant on the Spurs. I got to have him in the East. You got to have him in the East. Oh, Cupcake went to the Eastern Conference. He ran away from the West to go to the Eastern Conference. That's another compelling reason why Cupcake must go to the East, because he joins the Eastern Conference. Cupcake has to join the Eastern Conference. Of course he does. Of course he does. Cupcake going to New York. If New York loses the game tomorrow and the series is boring, the NBA season is practically over, then basically they're setting the stage to where the New York Knicks have no choice but to trigger the trade for Kevin Durant. If you lose against the Pacers 4-1, if you're losing 3-1, that is absolutely going to make it no doubt that Kevin Durant is going to the New York Knicks, and the New York Knicks are going to do, and this will show that they're not going to extend Michael Bridges. They'd rather take their chances on Kevin Durant. We're not going to extend Michael Bridges if he plays poorly for the rest of the series. That's what would trigger the move for Kevin Durant. But it is a wrap. The Thunder are the NBA champions, and nobody is stopping them this year.